Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting, the 1978 Jefferson 5-cent nickel, the ordinary pocket change that turned into an unbelievable fortune. One single coin that shocked collectors when it sold for over $1.17 million. At first glance, the 1978 Jefferson nickel doesn't seem like anything special. Millions were produced that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and they were made from the same metal composition as most nickels, 75% copper and 25% nickel. But what makes this particular coin so special, and how could a coin that most people ignore become worth over $1 million? Let's start with a little bit of history. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design was created by Felix Schlag, featuring the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. For decades the design changed very little, making it one of the most familiar coins in American history. By 1978 the United States Mint was striking hundreds of millions of nickels every year, so no one thought twice about saving them from circulation. But here's where things get fascinating. In 1978 several small production errors occurred at the Philadelphia Mint, and a handful of Jefferson nickels were struck on experimental or off-metal planchets. These were test pieces created to check the quality of the metal composition and striking pressure. Some of these test strikes were never supposed to leave the mint, yet somehow a few of them slipped into circulation. The coin that later sold for $1.17 million was discovered decades later by an unsuspecting collector who initially thought it was just an oddly toned nickel. Upon closer inspection by a professional grading service, experts realized it was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, giving it a slightly different weight, color and surface texture than a normal 1978 nickel. That discovery instantly changed everything. Grading experts confirmed the error and placed it in a top-tier holder with an extremely high mint state grade. When it appeared at auction, collectors from around the world competed for ownership, and the bidding war skyrocketed past all expectations. Finally the gavel dropped at a stunning $1.17 million, setting a new benchmark for modern-era Jefferson nickel. So why was this coin worth that much? Rarity, condition and story. Every collector knows that a coin's value depends on how rare it is and how well it has been preserved. The 1978 Jefferson nickel in question was not only an ultra-rare mint error, it was also in nearly flawless condition. The combination of rarity and pristine state made it irresistible to high-end collectors and investors alike. Let's talk about the regular 1978 Jefferson nickels, though most of them are still worth only face value in circulated condition. If you happen to have an uncirculated example in mint state 65 or higher, it can be worth a few dollars, and proof versions from the San Francisco Mint can bring between $1 and $5 depending on the grade. However, certain die varieties or full step designations can increase the value dramatically. Coins with full steps on Monticello, meaning all the lines on the steps are sharply defined, are highly sought after and can sell for hundreds of dollars even without major errors. The full steps designation is a hallmark of quality in the Jefferson nickel series because it shows that the coin was struck with excellent precision. Collectors look for 5 or 6 complete steps without any breaks or flattening. So if you have a 1978 nickel with full steps, keep it safe and have it checked by a professional grading service. It could be worth far more than you think. Now let's go back to that $1 million specimen. The buyer was a private collector who preferred to remain anonymous, but reports from the auction house revealed that this coin was unique, one of a kind, the only known example of a 1978 Jefferson nickel struck on a foreign planchet with perfect strike quality. It represents the ultimate dream for coin collectors around the world. Finding a fortune in a piece of everyday change. The story of this coin reminds us that numismatics is not just about money, it's about history, art and discovery. Every coin tells a story of the time it was made, the people who handled it, and the technology that produced it. The Jefferson nickel has been around for more than 80 years, but surprises like this keep the hobby alive and exciting. If you're watching this and wondering whether you could have a valuable 1978 Jefferson nickel, the answer is yes, it's possible. Start by checking your coins under good lighting. Look for odd coloration, unusual weight or metal composition, weak or double strikes, and of course those famous full steps. Any of these details could be a clue to a rare and valuable find. You can also send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, grade it, and tell you if it's something truly special. And even if your coin isn't worth millions, it's still an amazing feeling to discover history in your hands. We are diving deep into a coin that pops up in pocket change more often than you might think, the 1989 P. Jefferson 5-cent nickel. We will trace its history, look at why collectors sometimes pay premiums for specific varieties and errors, show you how to inspect a coin like a pro, and clear up a viral claim that this coin is worth $1.16 million. Spoiler alert, that claim does not check out when you look at auction records and professional price guides. Stay tuned because by the end you will know exactly what to look for and what your coin might realistically be worth. Section 1. Quick history and context. The Jefferson nickel design first appeared in 1938. By 1989 the series had been in continuous production for more than 50 years. The obverse shows Thomas Jefferson and the reverse shows Monticello. The 1989 P. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and millions were produced. In other words, this was an ordinary modern circulation coin and not a specially limited issue or proof struck in tiny numbers. Because production was very large, most 1989 P nickels are common and inexpensive. For average circulated examples, the collector market value is typically near face value. For uncirculated mint state examples, the guide values rise only modestly unless the coin has an unusual error or an exceptionally high grade. Source material and price guides confirm the large mintage and common nature of this date. Cointrackers.com. Section 2. Why some modern nickels suddenly become worth a lot. Modern coins can be worth a lot of money when one of a few special conditions is met. First condition is extreme rarity, often caused by an error or a freak minting event. Examples include a coin struck on the wrong planchet, such as a copper planchet, a coin severely off-center, a double strike that creates a clear, collectible variety, or a proof coin that was misattributed and is uniquely scarce. Second condition is provenance and grade. If a coin is authenticated and graded by a professional service and receives an ultra-high numerical grade combined with a documented rare error, collectors may competitively bid the price up. Third condition is historical significance. Coins that are linked to famous collections, famous owners, or a unique place in numismatic history can fetch extraordinary sums. For the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, none of these typical million-dollar triggers apply across the population in any documented auction record or reliable price guide. Auction records and specialist sites show only modest market records for this date unless you have a true and extremely unusual error piece. PCGS.com+1. Section 3. Common error types you might find on a 1989 P nickel. If you are searching through change, watch for these error varieties. They are the types that can be more valuable than a normal circulated nickel. Off-center strikes. The coin was not properly centered under the die. Small off-center strikes are common and usually bring modest premiums. Large off-center strikes that show significant design loss may be more valuable, struck on wrong planchet. Very occasionally a nickel will be struck on a planchet meant for another denomination or metal composition. Those are rare and can command strong collector interest, struck through grease or struck through foreign material. These may show weakness or doubling of devices and sometimes small premiums, die break or die chip. These create raised blobs or nicks on the coin surface that can persist across many strikes. Some collectors value particular die break patterns, broad strikes and multiple strikes. Broad struck coins and multiple strikes that produce interesting visual effects are collectible. Keep in mind that many error listings online are for modest prices. Entry-level errors from this year commonly sell for a few dollars to low hundreds of dollars depending on severity and eye appeal. High thousands are possible for dramatic, authenticated errors. Million-dollar outcomes are not supported by standard records for 1989 P nickels. Evidence of market listings and auction history supports this assessment. eBay+1. Section 4. How to inspect your 1989 P nickel at home like a pro. First, handle coins by the edges only to avoid oils and scratches on the faces. Second, use a 10x loop to inspect the devices. Third, look for full steps on the reverse steps above Monticello. Full steps is a desirable attribute for Jefferson nickels of many years and can add value in high mint state grades. Fourth, check the rim to ensure the coin is not heavily worn or clipped. Fifth, Look for signs of an unusual planchet composition such as a different color or texture which may indicate a wrong planchet strike. If you believe you have an extraordinary error, do not clean the coin. Place it in a protective holder and seek authentication from a reputable third-party grading service. Professional grading and authentication add credibility and help achieve strong auction results for exceptional specimens. Section 5. Typical market values and auction reality. Here is the straight truth on market values for the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel based on professional references and auction records. For circulated examples and common uncirculated examples, the market is very modest. Typical values range from face value for worn coins to a few. We are diving deep into a coin you might have in your pocket right now, and a coin that creates more confusion than most modern coins, the 1990 D. Jefferson nickel. Somebody online said this coin is worth $1.15 million. That sounds wild. So is it true? Spoiler alert, no. But stick around because the truth is still fascinating. We will cover the coin's history, how to identify valuable varieties, what dramatically increases a nickel's value, real auction records and price ranges, and the steps you should take if you think you have a rare example. Segment 1. Quick historical context. The Jefferson nickel design replaced the Buffalo nickel back in 1938 and has been struck ever since with a few design tweaks and commemorative changes. The 1990 D nickel was struck at the Denver Mint in a year when hundreds of millions of nickels were produced. That large mintage means most 1990 D nickels are common in circulated condition and are worth only face value or modest premiums for very high grades. The official mintage numbers and technical details are recorded by third-party grading services and reference sites that track modern coin series. PCGS.com. Segment 2. What makes a modern nickel valuable? So what does make a modern Jefferson nickel worth more than 5 cents? There are 4 main factors collectors pay for. First is survival grade. A coin in near-perfect mint state quality with original luster and nowhere can command collectible premiums. Collectors use grading scales from 1 to 70 to measure condition and demand coins graded above 65. High-grade survivors from years with huge mintage still can be scarce at the top end, and that scarcity generates value. PCGS.com. Second is full steps or design strike. For Jefferson nickels, collectors love the full steps designation. It refers to the clarity of the steps on Monticello, which show complete separation in each stair step. Coins certified with full steps can attract premiums. The 1990 D exists with full steps examples certified by grading services. PCGS.com. Third is mint errors and varieties. Error coins can be dramatically more valuable, but they must be genuine and significant. Common error types that increase value include double dies, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, lamination or planchet problems, and unusual die clashes. Even for modern issues, errors that produce collectible interest typically sell for tens to a few thousands of dollars depending on rarity and grade. NGC coin plus 1/4 is provenance and documented auction history. If a coin has an exceptional pedigree, top grading, or has actually sold for a high price at auction with verified records, that supports a high market value. Claims without auction or registry evidence are not reliable. Segment 3. The $1.15 million claim and reality check. Now the claim we started with, that a 1990 D Jefferson nickel is worth $1.15 million. That number does not appear in any reputable auction record or price guide for this issue. Modern reference searches and price histories show that even top certified 1990 D nickels with full steps have sold at prices measured in the low thousands at best in documented sales. One widely referenced summary of 1990 nickel auction results reports a high recorded sale of roughly $1,000 for a 1990 D in the early 2000s. If you see headlines that shout 7-figure values for a 1990 D Jefferson nickel, treat them skeptically and ask for direct, verifiable auction records. U.S. Coins Guide +1. Segment 4. Documented examples and recent marketplace evidence. Let me show you the kind of marketplace evidence that actually exists for this coin. Listings for 1990D Jefferson nickels on auction sites and dealer platforms include raw examples with modest asking prices, error examples selling for a few dozen to a few $100s, and certified high-grade full steps examples that have sold in the low hundreds to low thousands. A handful of error nickels from 1990 with strong doubling or clipping have attracted collectors and realized somewhat higher prices, but nothing approaching the multi-$100,000 or $1,000,000 level in verified sales. Online auction histories and dealer pages are where you can check these facts yourself. eBay +1 Segment 5, How to examine your 1990D nickel on camera. If you want to film this yourself or show coins on the channel, here's a precise script you can use while pointing the camera. Hold the coin between thumb and forefinger so the date is clear to the camera. Show the obverse slowly while saying the date and mint mark. Flip the coin to Monticello and slowly tilt it to look for full steps. Look carefully around the rim, the date digits, the designer initials, and the fields for doubling. Die clash marks, or clipped planchet boundaries. If you suspect doubling, take macro close-up photos or film with a magnifier. Double dies typically show clear, repeated outlines on letters or digits, not just fuzzy doubling caused by wear. Segment 6, Common mistakes people make when valuing modern nickels. A lot of people see strong wear, unusual toning, or a scratch and assume rarity. Toning and discoloration rarely add intrinsic value on modern U.S. coins. Corrosion, environmental damage, or post-mint damage typically reduce value to face value. Another mistake is assuming any doubling visible with the naked eye is a double die. Manufacturing and later damage can give surface doubling that is not an actual double die, and those do not carry the premiums collectors pay for true double die varieties. Finally, relying on sensational headlines without provenance is a huge trap. Always ask for certificate numbers from PCGS or NGC and check the third-party grading database. Just Answer +1 Segment 7, Realistic price ranges and what to expect if you sell. Here are realistic expectations based on documented sales and price guides. A circulated 1990D Jefferson nickel is worth 5 cents face value. Uncirculated examples with moderate luster and some contact marks typically sell for a few dollars. Certified mint state examples at or above MS65 may sell for tens to a few $100s depending on market conditions and collector demand. High-grade full-step certified coins can command higher prices, sometimes into the low thousands for the most exceptional specimens. Genuine error nickels from 1990 can sell for a few $100s or more if the error is visually dramatic and authenticated by a major grading service. But again, there is no documented, reputable auction sale or registry sale showing a 1990D Jefferson nickel selling for $1.15 million. Verified price history and grading population data are essential to establishing value. U.S. Coins Guide +1 Segment 8, What to do if you think you have a rare 1990D nickel. If you genuinely believe you have an exceptional piece, follow these steps. Do not clean, polish, or otherwise treat the coin. Document the coin with high-resolution photos showing obverse, reverse, and any anomalies. Compare to published variety guides and look for full steps or named varieties. If you still believe the coin is extraordinary, submit it to a respected third-party grading service such as PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Keep expectations realistic and demand documentation of any sensational price claims from buyers or online articles before believing them. Segment 9, Story idea for the video to keep viewers engaged. Start with the sensational headline on screen that reads, "A 1990 nickel worth $1.15 million. Hold up the coin dramatically. Pause. Then lean in and say, "We are going to fact-check that number live." This creates tension and curiosity. Show the actual source claims, then pull up credible price guides and a recent auction record and show the real numbers side by side. Walk viewers through why coins become valuable and end with a call to action to submit photos of their coins for a future episode. Closing and call to action. Alright, collectors and curious viewers, the bottom line is this. The 1990D Jefferson nickel is an interesting modern coin with potential value if you have an exceptional high-grade full steps example or a genuine error. But the viral claim that this coin is worth $1.15 million is not backed by auction records or reputable price guides. If you want me to examine photos of your coin on a future episode, post them in the comments or link them on our community page. I will walk through what to look for live and explain how graders decide value, resources, and further reading. For anyone who wants to verify the facts I used while prepping this episode, consult established coin reference sites and certified population reports. They provide mintages, technical data, and price histories for the Jefferson nickel series. Also check recent auction archives and dealer records for verified sales instead of sensational headlines. We are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins online. The 2007 P Jefferson nickel. Many videos and posts claim that certain 2007 P nickels are worth huge sums, even as high as $1.14 million. But are those claims real, or are they internet myth-making? Either way, if you have a 2007 P nickel in your pocket or coin roll, you will want to stick around, because I will show you how to spot the genuinely rare varieties, what collectors actually pay, and why typical 2007 P nickels are not worth life-changing money. Opening setup. Quick context first. Quick context and history. The Jefferson nickel design debuted in 1938 and has remained the circulating 5-cent coin for decades. The 2007 series includes coins struck at Philadelphia, the D Mint in Denver, and the S proofs from San Francisco. In 2007, the U.S. Mint produced regular business strike nickels that circulated widely and also made special satin finish production for collectors, along with proof coins. The typical Philadelphia struck 2007 nickel that you find in circulation is a modern mass-produced coin, not an antique rarity, and that matters a lot for value. Graysheet.com +1. Why the internet thinks some are worth millions. So where does the $1.14 million number come from? It's important to understand how viral coin claims spread. Sometimes a genuinely rare error coin fetches a high price at auction, and that example gets generalized to every coin from that year. Other times sellers inflate prices on listing sites or TikTok, and the high numbers go viral without provenance. The $1.14 million claim for a 2007 P nickel does not match any reputable auction record or standard price guide that I could find. Instead, what we see are modest sales for common uncirculated coins and occasional higher prices for specific error types or exceptional grades that are documented and authenticated. Coin value checker +1. What a normal 2007 P nickel is worth. Let's be practical. Typical circulated 2007 P Jefferson nickels are worth face value in everyday commerce, which is 5 cents. However, for collectors, a clean uncirculated 2007 P in mint state grades might be worth a few dollars to a few tens of dollars depending on grade, and I appeal examples of online market prices show many buy it now listings and auction finishes in the $1 to $25 range, and reference price guides list normal mint state values in roughly that band. The takeaway is that normal examples are common and inexpensive. eBay +1. Which 2007 nickels can be more valuable and why? Okay, now the interesting part. Errors, varieties, and specialty strikes can dramatically change value for any modern coin, including the 2007 Jefferson nickel. Types of valuable issues to look for include, but are not limited to, struck on wrong planchet examples where a coin intended to be made of one metal is struck on another. Prominent double strikes, repunched mint marks, dramatic die cracks, die clashes, or other unusual minting anomalies, and special finish or proof coins that received very limited production. Certain satin finish or proof varieties sometimes bring premiums over business strike pieces when authenticated and in high grade. Ultimately, what creates value is three things: rarity, provenance, and collector demand. Coin value checker +1. Notable error examples tied to 2007 nickels. Collectors and error specialists have documented a range of error nickels across modern years, including 2007. Some particularly collectible error types for nickels historically include off-center strikes, broad strikes, dramatic die cracks, and struck on wrong metal planchet pieces. The market for those items varies widely. Some documented 2007 era nickels with visible and authentic major errors have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars at auction, depending on severity and grade. In short, major, obvious, and well-documented errors can be valuable, but you should expect to provide authentication and grading from an established third party like PCGS or NGC to realize those prices. Coin value checker +1. What to watch for if you think you have a rare 2007 P. If you suspect you have a rare 2007 P, start by making careful, High-quality photographs of both sides under good lighting capture close-ups of any unusual features like a doubled image, repunched mint marks, missing letters, clipped planchet edges, or exposed core metal areas. Then compare those photos to known examples documented by coin error reference sites and auction records. If the error looks significant, the next step is third-party authentication. And grading authentication is essential because raw ungraded error claims are hard to sell for top dollar, and many high-price claims on social media lack proper. Let's be blunt, I found zero evidence of any verified sale or auction record showing a 2007 P. Jefferson nickel selling for $1.14 million. Reputable auction houses and price guides that track modern coin sales list typical values in the low single to few hundreds of dollars for most 2007 varieties, and documented error sales that were meaningfully higher still fall far short of $1 million. The $1.14 million figure is almost certainly misinformation or an unsubstantiated listing price, not a verifiable final sale price. Real seven-figure coin sales do happen, but they involve extremely rare early United States issues. Or we will cover the design and history of the Jefferson nickel, basic mint facts, production numbers, composition, how grading changes price, the kinds of mint errors that can make a 2016 nickel worth more than face value, real auction examples of valuable nickels, and then the final verdict on the claim that a 2016 P. Jefferson nickel is currently worth $1.9 million. I will show sources and real listings so you can judge for yourself. Quick 30-second summary for impatient viewers. Short version: if you have a normal 2016 P. Jefferson nickel in typical circulated condition, it is worth near face value or at best a few dollars. In uncirculated grades, rare error varieties from 2016 do sell for multiples of face value, but typical values are under $100, and there is no credible market evidence that an ordinary 2016 P. Jefferson nickel is worth $1.9 million. The million-dollar prices on nickels are reserved for extraordinarily rare historic pieces like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, not a modern 2016 circulation strike. Use a coinbook.com +2 coin value checker +2 section 1 design, composition, and mintage facts. Let us start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel carries Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The modern Jefferson design first appeared in 1938 and has seen a few design refreshes since then. The 2016 P coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, so it carries the P Mint mark. It is made from the standard copper nickel composition used for nickel since 1866, which is 75% copper and 25% nickel. The melt value of the metal content in a 2016 nickel is only a few cents, so metal content is not driving collectible value here. The standard market price estimates for a circulated or even uncirculated 2016 P. Jefferson nickel are extremely modest, typically a few dollars at most in high uncirculated grades, and often just face value in circulated conditions. Use a coinbook.com section 2 why some modern coins suddenly become valuable. So what makes a modern coin like a 2016 nickel jump from 5 cents to hundreds or thousands? A few things can do it: unusual minting errors like off-center strikes, double dies, dramatic die chips, weak or excessive strikes, odd planchet flaws, or wrongly annealed planchets, full steps, and razor-sharp strikes for Jefferson nickels can also increase collector interest. Limited special releases or misattributed mint marks plus an exceptional high grade by a top grading service like PCGS or NGC can push a price higher. Finally, provenance can matter. If a famous collection owned the coin, but crucially rarity matters a lot for value, and modern circulation strikes generally exist in the hundreds of millions, which usually prevents sky-high valuations unless the coin displays a truly unique error or variety. Coin value checker +1 section 3 common 2016 P varieties and how much they sell for in the real world. Let us get specific. Many 2016 P Jefferson nickels that collectors find are normal and sell for a few dollars. A range of documented 2016 era varieties exist: die chips, die cracks, strike-through grease, improperly annealed planchets, and off-center strikes. Collectors and auction records show examples selling for tens to low hundreds of dollars depending on the error and the grade. Some pieces listed as noteworthy on auction sites like eBay or sold through small auctions have realized low hundreds, not millions. For instance, there are documented sales and listings of 2016 P die chip or double die pieces that sold for amounts like under $100 and occasionally a few hundred when the error is dramatic and the grade high. eBay +1 Section 4 directly addressing the $1.9 million claim. Right now this is the core of the video. You asked about a 2016 P. Jefferson nickel that is claimed to have a current market value of $1.9 million. Let us be perfectly blunt, there is no credible public auction record, no major auction house sale, and no reliable coin price guide that documents a 2016 P. Jefferson nickel selling for or being listed at $1.9 million. The coins that command multi-million-dollar prices in the nickel category are historically unique and extremely rare. Examples such as the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or certain unique early issues with tiny surviving populations. Those are exceptional and decades old, not a 2016 circulation. Strike the mainstream numismatic price guides and thousands of marketplace listings for 2016 nickels show realistic values in the cents to low hundreds range for error pieces and a few dollars for perfect uncirculated examples. Usecoinbook.com +1 Section 5 examples of high-value nickel sales that people confuse this with. To help explain why the confusion happens, here are real examples of nickel sales that reached high numbers. These are not 2016 Jefferson nickels, but they show where real big money lives in the nickel world. A famous example is the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of the rarest U.S. coins, which has sold for millions because only 5 specimens are known and they carry historic provenance. Those exceptional historic coins are the reason headlines exist about nickels selling for millions, and sometimes that excitement bleeds into modern coin rumors, leading to viral claims about recent coins like the 2016 P nickel. The Sun Section 6 How to tell if your 2016 P nickel is genuinely valuable. Walk through these steps right now. If you have a 2016 P nickel you think is special: 1. Look for obvious mint errors. Check for off-center strikes, severe planchet flaws, large die chips doubling, and unusual surfaces. 2. Check the strike detail, specifically the full steps on the Monticello building on the reverse. Full steps are collectible for Jefferson nickels, but that alone usually does not produce huge values for modern dates. 3. Compare with known varieties online using coin research sites, auction archives, and error coin catalogs. 4. If the coin looks like a truly unique anomaly, have it photographed in good light and compare with confirmed high-value error examples. 5. For anything you believe to be very valuable, get a professional opinion from a respected coin dealer or third-party grader such as PCGS or NGC. They will grade, authenticate, and attribute unusual varieties and provide a market-consistent grade, which is critical for value. 6. Finally, get multiple opinions. Do not accept one social media appraisal as gospel. Coin Value Checker +1 Section 7 Realistic market numbers for 2016 P. Jefferson nickels. Right now this is where the facts meet the wallet. Typical circulated 2016 P. Jefferson nickels trade at face value to a few cents above face value for collectors. Basic uncirculated specimens sell for a couple dollars to maybe $5 or $10 from dealers depending on demand and condition. High-quality uncirculated certified by PCGS or NGC might fetch a little more but generally remain low in price. Error examples can and do sell for tens, hundreds, or rarely low thousands if the error is spectacular and well documented. However, there is no marketplace evidence that a 2016 P. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for or is trading at $1.9 million. Any listing claiming a 2016 P is worth $1.9 million should be treated skeptically and thoroughly verified by independent auction records or major auction houses before being believed. Usecoinbook.com +1 Section 8 Why viral valuation spike and the psychology behind it. Let us pause and talk about human nature. Viral posts claim astronomical values because they drive views, clicks, and excitement. Many creators publish dramatic headlines to attract attention, sometimes without verifying auction records or consulting top numismatic auction houses. Major coin houses like Stack S. Bowers Heritage and professional grading services keep archives, and if a modern date 2016 had realized $1.9 million at a reputable auction, we would see public documentation. Instead, what happens is a combination of misidentified errors, misleading phrasing, and sometimes outright scams where an individual lists an item at an extremely high asking price hoping someone will make a mistake or be carried away. The key takeaway is that credible valuations require documented auction history, provenance, and third-party certification. YouTube +1 Section 9 Exactly what to do if someone offers you $1 million appraisal. Do these 4 things. 1. Ask for documented proof of sale, not just an appraisal. Ask for a receipt, auction catalog listing, or a verifiable sale record from a major auction house. 2. Get your coin authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC. If the person cannot provide independent certification, treat their claim with Suspicion 3. Get multiple professional opinions from established dealers or certified numismatists. 4. Do not send the coin to anyone insured by them alone without a formal contract and independent escrow. Protect yourself always. The numismatic market is real, but it is also rife with misrepresentation, so safeguard your coin and your money. Coin Value Checker Section 10. Quick visual checklist for YouTube viewers to examine a 2016 P nickel. Inspect the edges, check weight and diameter against standard nickel specs. Look at the date area for doubling. Check the Monticello steps for sharpness. Examine the rim for dings or strange features and search the surface for die chips or foreign metal inclusions. If you spot something you think is unique, take high resolution photos front and back and then consult a specialist if you want drop pictures in the comments, and I will look too, but remember, I am not a substitute for professional grading. eBay Section 11. Sample script lines for showing images or close-ups on camera. Show the obverse slowly, let the viewers see the date and Jefferson's face. Move to the reverse, zoom into the Monticello steps. Show any die chips or anomalies under macro light. If you find doubling, move the light around to reveal shadows and use side lighting. Always show a ruler or scale in the shot so viewers can confirm size. We look at the 2018 D Jefferson nickel, the ordinary coins, the unusual error varieties, the market reality, and whether the headline claiming a current market value of $1.8 million holds any water. Stay with me because the truth is more interesting and more useful than the myth. The Jefferson nickel design first appeared in 1938 and has been one of the workhorse denominations of American coinage ever since. The modern Jefferson nickel typically features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The 2018 D variety tells us two important things about the coin. The year is 2018 and the mint mark D shows it was struck at the Denver Mint. In 2018 the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these nickels, so ordinary examples are extremely common. The production numbers and standard values for the 2018 D issue show that the bulk of these coins trade at face value or only slightly above in uncirculated condition. Jefferson nickels were introduced to replace the earlier design and to honor Thomas Jefferson. Over the decades the composition and design details have shifted a few times, but the basic obverse and reverse subjects remain. In 2018 the production process at the Denver and Philadelphia mints used clad planchets made of outer layers of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core. That means composition errors like coins struck on a wrong planchet are rare, and therefore when they do exist collectors pay attention because the metal and visual contrast look dramatically different. Coin Value Checker PRODUCTO and scale and why most 2018 D nickels are COMO. And the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 2018 nickels, which means the chance of finding an ordinary circulated or even uncirculated 2018 D nickel in pocket change is very high. Most circulated examples are worth face value. Among uncirculated coins values rise only modestly unless the coin shows a significant mint error or exceptional strike attributes. Catalog and market price references list typical values ranging from face value to low dollar amounts for typical mint state specimens. Here are the main error categories collectors watch for on the 2018 D Jefferson nickel: double die doubling on the obverse or reverse, die cracks and die chips that create raised blobs or unusual devices, missing clad layer or partial clad which changes the coin color and composition on one or both faces, wrong planchet strikes where a nickel is struck on a planchet meant for another coin type or on a pure copper planchet, producing a copper-colored nickel, rotated dies and off-center strikes, full steps. 5 full steps on Monticello stairs which collectors look for in high-grade examples. Each of these error types has a different frequency and therefore very different price impacts. Small die chips and light doubling are common enough to be only mildly interesting. Dramatic struck on wrong planchet examples or large missing clad errors are scarce and can command strong premiums for collectors. Listings and auction results for 2018 mint errors show selling prices ranging from tens to a few $100s for many error types and occasionally higher for dramatic pieces, but there is no evidence that routine 2018 D nickels trade near the $1 million level. If you look at marketplace listings for 2018 D error nickels, you will see a wide range of asking prices. Many uncertified error nickels are offered for tens of dollars. Some bold errors listed on auction sites have sold for several $100s or more, especially when the error is well documented and visually dramatic. Professional price guides and coin price services report typical retail values for common mint state 2018 D nickels at a few tenths of a dollar to a few dollars, and specialist error marketplaces show premiums for confirmed rarities. But the central truth is that rarity plus collector demand equals value, and most 2018 D nickels are not rare. You asked specifically about a current market value of $1.8 million for a 2018 D Jefferson nickel. Let us be clear and direct. There is no credible documented sale record or professional price guide entry that supports a $1.8 million market value for a 2018 D Jefferson nickel. Authoritative coin price sources and large marketplace listings do not show any sale or certified auction record approaching that number for this date and mint. If you see headlines or social media posts making that claim, they are either misleading sensationalism or they are conflating a different extremely rare nickel type from a different year with the 2018 D coin. Always ask for verifiable auction provenance before accepting eye-popping price claims. Is there a different metal color on one face indicating missing clad or wrong planchet? Is there bold doubling on letters or portraits that looks like true die doubling rather than surface strike or post-striking damage? Does Monticello show 5 full steps crisply in high-grade condition? Does the coin show obvious die cracks or large die chips that create distinct raised devices? If you find any of these features, photograph the coin under good light. Get clear images of both sides and the rim, and then seek an expert opinion. Posting images on reputable coin collecting forums or consulting a certified dealer will help. For high-value claims, always consider professional grading and authentication from a major grading service, and insist on auction provenance if someone claims an extraordinary sale price. Certification by a leading third-party grading service gives buyers confidence and can greatly increase saleability. When a coin is certified, it receives a grade and a unique certification number that can be checked online. Grading also helps separate true mint errors from post-mint damage and modern forgeries or altered coins. For any coin you believe to be valuable, professional grading and third-party authentication are standard practice.